to come to today and talk about a subject which I think is very, very important. And I've kind of talked around the periphery of this topic, and that is developing people. And I'll tell you my thoughts on it, and that is, hey, listen, if you get an employee into the workspace, you only can dedicate so much time to attempting to develop him or her when it's time to kind of let them go. You know what I'm saying? Cut sling load from them and let the organization pick up somebody who is more capable. Boy, that was silly. And that sounded like me about 20 and 30 years ago when I didn't necessarily recognize or understand that my job as a leader, the job of supervisors out there, is to develop employees. Hey, listen, it isn't necessarily easy, but if the organization is good enough to make the decision to bring them into the organization, you owe it as a supervisor and or a leader to develop them. When I started off on, talking about, hey, time to cut sling load, that was my outlook 20 or 30 years ago. I was very naive in what I owed in terms of developing character, presence, and intellect, and my own ability to lead, develop, and achieve. And I put develop in there because it's supervisor and or leader, and actually it should be leader who is a supervisor's responsibility to develop the team around them. And that's subordinates in the workplace. And oh, by the way, if you're kind of several levels above that, your subordinate leaders have an obligation for the good of the organization and the good of the company to do the same thing. Develop their subordinates. Hey, listen, not everybody comes into an organization perfect. I'm sure if you talk to Bill Gates and or others, people who have been extremely successful when they were 18, 19, 20 years old, maybe they made decisions that they would not necessarily make today. That's called experience. That's called maturity. What I would ask each and every single one of you is think about your organization and think about what your leaders are doing in terms of developing subordinates. And if you're not doing enough, I'd ask you to do more. Sit down, figure out an employee action plan to bring those individuals' levels of performance and potential up to the level that they need to be. Hey, we owe it to them. We owe it to those young men and women out there to look out for their best interest, because after all, that's what leaders do.